Welcome to 6 Feet Apart. We have got episode 8. Today I have Kevin Belbey joining me, Vice President of Sports Broadcasting at the talent agency, GM of Boeheim's Army, and a big Cuse fan. Thanks for hopping on here today.
Happy to be on. Appreciate the introduction. I was hoping to get an Elijah Hughes type of introduction. You know, you called him a bucket getter. I like myself as a bucket getter too, but no.
The walking
love
bucket of Syracuse basketball. Elijah
Okay, so
Hughes.
we'll call you the walking bucket for the rest of the episode, if that is what you'd like to be called. So basically, what was your experience like? You work in the sports world, but not traditionally. When I interviewed a lot of coaches, a lot of athletes, a lot of sports broadcasters who would be more on the scene during these events. What was your experience like when the NBA came to a halt and then the tournament was canceled?
Yeah, so I was actually down at the ACC tournament for two reasons, in Greensboro for two reasons. One, my younger brother Sean was a senior on the Syracuse men's basketball team, and then two, so we represent 250 different sports and news broadcasters here at the Montag Group, and we have a ton of clients that cover college basketball. So I was going down and seeing some of our clients who work for ESPN and the ACC network. Seth Greenberg, Sean McDonough, Jay Billis was down there, Katie George, Carlos Boozer, Dave O'Brien, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some other ones.
Any big sports name, basically.
Yeah, basically. So I was having as good of a week in Greensboro as you could have for the first day or two I was there. And, I was at the UNC game, and Syracuse played their best game of the season that night. Everybody was talking about how UNC was going to make a big run and win the ACC tournament. But instead, Syracuse was just on fire. And Elijah had such an amazing game, and I can't wait to see what he does in the NBA. But, we went back after that game to our hotel room and just kind of was watching the news, and then the Rudy Gobert stuff came out, and thought ESPN did an awesome job covering everything that was going on. I mean, I was just glued to the TV, and once it got to 12 midnight, 1 in the morning, still watching TV, all the major news networks were just rerunning, their programs from earlier in the night, and ESPN stayed live to 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And, I just kept thinking about what was going to happen, and I just was convinced that the NCAA tournament would not get canceled. There was just too much money at stake for it to be canceled. So clearly I was very wrong. And, things progressed pretty quickly. That next morning I went down to the gym to get a quick workout in, and Syracuse wasn't supposed to play till that night. And then I'm refreshing Twitter, and the Big Ten canceled, and the SEC canceled, and the Big 12 canceled. So I'm like, it's only a matter of time till the ACC is going to cancel. And then, all of a sudden, over a month later, here we are, still sitting in our houses and apartments.
And the ACC, like you said, it was one of the last conferences to end up canceling their tournament, and there was a lot of roller coaster of effects. I talked to Monica McNutt, who was at the women's ACC tournament, and she said exactly what you said. I never would have thought March Madness would have gotten canceled. Just sitting here and kind of reflecting on everything that's happening, could you even put it into words where we are right now for you personally?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things I've learned is that it's uncharted territory, not uncharted. And it's true, because there's really no precedent for this. Again, I was just convinced that these games would continue to be played without fans. And, clearly I think the NCAA and the NBA and all these other leagues have made the right decision. And the biggest question is, when are we going to reopen again? And there's really no right answer, and I don't really know where we go from here, but I'm optimistic that things will get back to normal. Things will be different, and it'll be a new normal, but I can't wait for whatever that first game is.
Whatever it is, cricket, golf, anything you'll be watching, I bet.
I was really pumped up because there was supposed to be a big UFC card tomorrow. And, until about 8 days ago, it was still going to go on as planned. And I'm not the biggest UFC fan in the world, but I follow the sport, big Conor McGregor fan. So I was like, all right, this is something to entertain me, to take my boredom away for a couple hours. But nope, that got canceled too. But I did watch WrestleMania because it was just something to have on TV.
I've actually never watched that. I feel like people are really expanding their horizons when it comes to being like particular in what they like to watch. I mean, Tiger King, I don't know if you've watched it, but people are like obsessed with that. It's a little crazy. I haven't watched it yet.
Wow, where you been?
I don't know. It seems a little strange. I just don't know if I can get into it yet. Have you watched it?
I have watched it, and it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And somehow every episode gets crazier and crazier. So I would definitely recommend Tiger King just as a way to kill 7 hours and get some laughs.
Yeah, I looked at my mom. She goes, "Oh, I've watched every episode already." I'm like, okay, I might as well get on the bandwagon. Looking for new clients. How have you adjusted your work style?
Yeah. Things are very different, and we have obviously a lot of clients that aren't working right now. So we're spending a lot of time with our clients, just talking to them about how, reassuring them that they will get back to work, and we have a lot of clients who get paid on a per game basis. So there's no games going on, people don't get paid, which is tough. But we have clients that are doing some really cool things during this time and are trying to be creative with new show ideas and doing different things on social media. One of my clients, who was actually one of my classmates at Syracuse, Kevin Brown.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was my PD, my personnel director at WAER, and used to give me feedback on my casts, my radio casts. But he
tables have turned a little bit.
Exactly. He found a website called whatifsports.com where you could simulate sports matchups. So he went and simulated all the conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament, and then did like mock broadcasts on Twitter of what might have happened. It involved his dog and his dog's chew toys. So that was pretty funny. And so that's kind of some of the, we're trying to just encourage our clients to stay active, get their names out there, and continue to bring value to their employers. And in terms of doing stuff on social media and being creative, and what I see on Twitter.
Real quick, what team won his simulated tournament?
Oh,
that's the ultimate question.
I know Dayton
college basketball
upset
simulation
Duke in the Final Four.
And
I don't think that was a big upset.
The Dayton Flyers, in an absolute thriller, Dayton wins the national championship for the first time in school history.
It is sad for the programs like that, because who knows when Dayton will have another team like that. But I mean, it was just amazing to see how well they did this year anyways. And Obi Toppin, I'm sure he will do great at the next level.
Yeah, can't wait to see him. It would have been fun, but for now, we just have Kevin Brown's Twitter videos.
I know, and all the made-up One Shining Moment videos. I just can't stop watching because I just think they're hilarious. Some guy on TikTok did one of like dunking and everything. I'm like, oh, this is great. At least people are having fun with it. What have you been doing to try to stay not stir crazy in your place during? Have you done TikTok? I know your brother is your brother is loving TikTok.
Yeah, he is. I've been watching a lot of TikToks. I've only made a couple. It's tough, honestly, to see Sane in New York City, being in an apartment, not having a backyard or anything like that. So try to get out here once in a while, trying to do some reading, definitely watching Netflix and Tiger King, playing a little Call of Zone, just trying to find some ways to pass the time.
I was looking at Sean's TikToks before this because I was going to see if you were in any of them and be like, hey, I saw your TikTok, but you haven't made an appearance on his account yet. So we definitely will have to look out for that.
I know. I made one celeb appearance actually in a varsity. He did some video, but yeah, he needs to. Joe Girard, I think, has really set the tone for great Syracuse basketball TikTok. So Sean's got to continue to up his game.
Well, maybe I'll have to interview Joe next, because Elijah gave him a 9 out of 10, but Elijah gave himself a 10 out of 10. Now, what do you rate your brother?
I'd give him maybe like a 6.5, 7. But that's okay. There's room for improvement. I think there needs to be a little bit more consistency. And I think Elijah too, he's only posted a few times. So that's
exactly. Joe is up there. Joe is up there. They're hating on him a little bit.
Joe's churning him out, He gets his mom involved.
They're funny. They are funny.
He has some unique ideas. I like his content.
I like his content. We will definitely have to throw a Joe TikTok on here while we're talking. I'll put one on there and maybe interview Joe and see if he gives himself a 10 out of 10 or 11 out of 10, because I think everyone's just hating on him. But first thing you will be doing post-quarantine?
It's a good question. My New Year's resolution for this year was to learn how to play golf. And it's been kind of something that I've wanted to do for a while. And I was like, all right, this is the year that I'm actually going to do it and actually learn the sport. So many of my coworkers and clients play during the summer and the spring and even the fall. And a golf simulator was supposed to open up on my block right across the street from me, basically.
That's awesome.
At the end of March. So I was excited to get in there and take some lessons. And so that's something that I want to do this summer, hopefully, when things open back up and the weather's nice again.
Belbey, you just went 6 feet apart.